Is this gun worth the trouble? Because man, I will tell you this, nothing will make you question your sanity more than playing ranked. I loaded up into ranked last night. I'm about 15 games shy from reaching Redrix Claymore on my account. I've done most of it solo, and I loaded into 2 games last night. Each game we went 5-5 with people, and we ended up losing, and it was against 2 stacks of 4. But that's just the way it is, man. And until matchmaking is going to be fixed up a little more in ranked, you're not necessarily going to not run into those teams of 4 anymore, but you're more than likely going to run into people of similar rank versus people of similar skill. Now, this seems like a hard concept to grasp, but just, you know, okay, let's just move on. With that being said, is Claymore worth the trouble? Currently in the pulse rifle hierarchy, you got Captain Dickhead over there called Graviton Lance, who's pretty much been raining terror on people now for the past month and a half. And especially since we've now gotten the catalyst for Graviton Lance, it is now even easier for people to rain hell down even more with that gun. On top of that, Vigilance Wing is also a very good choice to go head to head against Graviton Lance, but it definitely dicks on other guns as well in Crucible. So needless to say, Redrix Claymore has got some competition cut out for it. Now shout out to Bumby for letting me get on his account this morning. This is on Xbox, and I decided to give this gun a spin for the past couple hours, and it was nice. It was good, even outside of the Desperado perks, because I saw a few content creators put a review out on the gun and really didn't speak that great about it because they were mainly hung up on the Desperado perk. But I will say, for the gun itself, just by itself, I thought it handled itself pretty well. You know, most 340s are not great feeling guns to me, and this thing seemed to handle itself pretty well. It also has a +10 handling mod on it as a masterwork, but let's talk about the stats real quick and then we'll get into everything else. So recoil direction on the gun is 75. I bring up recoil direction when we talk about pulse rifles because you definitely want to know if you need to rock a counterbalance mod out or not. I would suggest at least one kinetic counterbalance mod for Redrix Claymore. Number 2, I personally rocked Corkscrew Rifling this morning. This is an option that gives you a little bit better handling, and that's the main thing. I just wanted some extra handling with the gun. Nothing makes you feel slower than when you rock a 340 with really bad handling. Now let's talk perks here, because there are some things about the perks I didn't know about. So Desperado reloading while Outlaw is activated increases your rate of fire. I think I just misread that. I thought it said reloading just in general activates your rate of fire, or increases your rate of fire. No, this is only whenever you get Outlaw to activate. Of course, Outlaw is only activated by precision kills. Now, it's not necessarily a difficult thing to do, but I will say that it does have a skill gap to it. And so you will have to be able to land your shots, especially with it being a pulse rifle and a slow rate of fire. On top of that, you know, pacing your shots is extremely important to be able to take advantage of Outlaw and Desperado. So let's talk about Desperado real quick before I get into my conclusion on the weapon. So Desperado ups that rate of fire from 340 to 600. At least what I've read, it ups it to 600 rounds per minute. Now, the beautiful thing is it keeps that crit damage at 29 and that body shot damage at 18. So you're still hitting like you would as a 340 round per minute archetype, but you're now shooting at 600 rounds per minute. I know some people will argue and say it's 540. Whatever the case, the gun's shooting fast. So whether it's 540 or 600, it's smoking. Now, again, back to the question. Is Redrix Claymore worth the trouble? I believe if you're a completionist like myself, anything is probably worth the trouble. That's the thing, man. That's something we have at fault, right? And if most of you are embedded from an MMO standpoint or an RPG standpoint, and you just like to just complete everything, naturally you're gonna want to get this gun because of that mindset. But if you're just a PvPer, somebody that just wants to go into PvP, I would say Claymore right now is good. I like it, but it definitely is situational. And considering that the hierarchy of pulse rifles right now with Graviton Lance and Vigilance Wing, it's really hard for me to recommend Claymore over those other pulse rifles. Now, the 17th of this month, that could all change. You see, we're supposed to be getting Fighting Lion's Catalyst coming out very soon. And that Catalyst is going to present to us, at least from what the database has shown, a perk called Chimera, which will essentially up the damage after shooting a Fighting Lion shot on your kinetic weapons. This can be paired extremely well with something like Claymore. Always being able to get that extra bit of damage, and then afterwards having Desperado activated more regularly is extremely nice. So I think in the case of whether this gun is worth the trouble, right now, maybe not so. But if you have not already begun to grind for Redrix Claymore, I think you would be missing out a little bit, especially if you are a PvP player that dedicates your time in PvP and you want the most optimal weapon. And so I think that Claymore around the 17th, or at least when the Fighting Lion catalyst is actually presented to us, I think that's when we can really begin to see its true potential. So guys, that is my thoughts on Claymore. Understand, fellas, we are going to be getting a lot of rework done to the rank playlist here in a few weeks. Supposedly, matchmaking is actually going to matchmake you up against people of similar rank. Who would have thought? That concept just is an incredible one. I never would have guessed that could be inside of a rank playlist. Alright guys, well thank y'all so much for coming and watching this video, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.